A couple arrived at their cruise terminal, passports ready and bags packed. 5 minutes later, security pulled their bag aside. Inside was something they'd brought on cruises for years. This time, it was banned. That's the reality of cruising in 2026. Cruise lines are tightening their rules, and even experienced passengers can get caught off guard. Today, we're breaking down 15 items that could be confiscated and what to bring instead. Because once you're at security, arguing won't help. If it's prohibited, it's gone. Analysis. 1. Surge-protected power strips. Surge-protected power strips are among the most commonly confiscated cruise items in 2026. The reason is simple: fire risk. Cruise ships use tightly controlled electrical systems, while surge protectors contain extra circuitry that can overheat or trip circuits. Security looks for multiple outlets, thick cords, surge protection labels, reset buttons, and breaker switches. If it looks like it distributes or regulates power, it may be confiscated. The safer option is a basic USB charging hub with no surge protection and no extension cord. One experienced cruiser once spent 10 minutes arguing over a power strip he'd used for years. Security simply took it. Vacation frustration completely avoidable. Number 2. Surge-protected adapters. Think a single surge-protected adapter is safe because it's small? Think again. Security is also watching for surge protection circuitry inside individual adapters. A tiny red or black reset button can be an immediate warning sign. And those old cruise-approved labels aren't necessarily enough anymore. Security focuses on what's inside the device, not just what's printed on the package. Bring a plain non-surge USB wall charger instead. No switch, no breaker, no surge protection, just simple charging. 3. Extension cords. Extension cords can also be restricted even without surge protection. Cruise lines worry about electrical load fire risk and tripping hazards inside tight cabins. A long cord across a narrow walkway is exactly the kind of risk ships want to eliminate. Instead, use a compact USB charging hub and work around the cabin's limited outlets. At sea, simpler is safer. And remember, just because something passed security last time doesn't mean it will pass this time. Cruise rules change. Enforcement gets tighter. What worked years ago could get confiscated today. 4. Electric blankets and heating pads. Electric blankets and heating pads are banned on most major cruise lines, and enforcement is getting stricter in 2026. The reason is obvious: fire risk. Cruise cabins are enclosed spaces, and anything that generates heat can become a serious hazard if it malfunctions. An auto shut-off feature doesn't necessarily save you. If the item plugs in and produces heat, security may remove it. These items can also be easily spotted during luggage screening. If you're worried about being cold, bring layered clothing or request extra blankets from your cabin attendant. It's safer, and it won't get taken at security. 5. Travel routers. Travel routers used to be a popular cruise hack. Connect one router, share your Wi-Fi across several devices, and potentially save money. But in 2026, these devices are facing more restrictions. The concern is signal interference. Cruise ships rely on complex wireless networks for communication, navigation, and emergency coordination. A personal router creates its own wireless signal, which can interfere with the ship's controlled network environment. Security can identify unauthorized networking devices, and the router may be confiscated for the rest of the voyage. The safer option? Use the ship's official Wi-Fi or onboard messaging system. It may cost more, but it's integrated into the ship's network and approved for use. That old cruise hack may no longer be worth the risk. 6. High-powered walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies were once a smart way for families to stay connected without paying for Wi-Fi. But high-powered and long-range models are getting much more scrutiny in 2026. Cruise ships use dedicated radio frequencies for crew coordination, bridge communication, safety announcements, and emergencies. Some consumer radios can overlap or interfere with those frequencies. That doesn't mean every small handheld walkie-talkie is automatically banned. But the old advice that they're always safe is no longer reliable. High wattage and multi-band models are more likely to attract attention during screening. The better option is to use the cruise line's official app and onboard chat features, because when you're surrounded by thousands of passengers at sea, one wrong signal can become a much bigger problem. 7. Baby monitors. Baby monitors are becoming another gray area for cruise passengers in 2026. The concern isn't the monitor itself, it's the radio signal. Many baby monitors continuously transmit signals that could overlap with onboard communication systems used for crew coordination, navigation, and emergencies. Because of that, some ships may flag or hold certain models during security screening, and that's what makes them risky. The rules can vary by ship. Instead, parents can use the ship's onboard messaging system or in-cabin phones to stay connected between nearby rooms. It may not feel as convenient as using your monitor at home, but cruise ships rely on tightly controlled communication systems. 8. Bluetooth and portable speakers in public areas. That little Bluetooth speaker may seem harmless, but in 2026, using personal speakers in public areas is facing stricter enforcement. Imagine a pool deck with 10 different groups each playing a different playlist. What starts as background music quickly becomes a noise battle. Many cruise lines now restrict personal speakers in shared spaces because passengers expect a controlled, relaxing environment. Your speaker may be allowed on board, but using it in a public area could result in it being confiscated until the end of the cruise. Want music? Use headphones. Inside your cabin, policies may vary, but in public spaces, the message is becoming clear. Shared spaces require shared consideration. 9. Personal drones. Personal drones are firmly in zero-tolerance territory while the ship is at sea. Cruise lines have reinforced these rules in 2026 because drones can create safety problems around lifeboats, restricted areas, crowded decks, and even wildlife near ports. They can also invade passenger privacy or interfere with ship operations. Some cruise lines may allow you to bring a drone for use during an independent shore excursion, but while on board, it must stay stored. Try launching it from your balcony or deck, and enforcement can be immediate. In many cases, security will hold the drone until disembarkation. So if you're hoping for aerial footage at sea, don't risk it. 10. Personal e-scooters and mopeds. Personal e-scooters and recreational mopeds are facing tighter enforcement in 2026. The biggest concern is the lithium battery. Large, rechargeable batteries can create serious fire risks, and on a cruise ship, fire prevention is taken extremely seriously. There's also the problem of storage. Cruise hallways and elevators are already tight, while emergency pathways must remain clear. But don't confuse recreational scooters with approved medical mobility devices. Necessary medical equipment with proper documentation is typically treated differently. If you want a scooter for exploring a port, renting one locally is often the simpler option. No battery screening, no storage problem, and no argument with cruise security. In 2026, cruise lines are making one thing clear: convenience doesn't come before safety. 11. Large, high-capacity power banks. Power banks aren't automatically banned, but large-capacity models are getting more scrutiny in 2026. The concern is lithium battery fire risk. Security may look at the battery's capacity size and labeling. Oversized power banks designed to charge laptops multiple times can attract extra attention, and some cruise lines have battery limits that vary by ship. The smarter choice is a mid-range power bank with clearly marked capacity within common airline-approved limits, and keep it in your carry-on, not checked luggage. In 2026, bigger isn't necessarily better when it comes to portable power. 12. Candles and incense. Candles and incense remain strictly prohibited across virtually all major cruise lines. The reason? Open flames and smoke. On a cruise ship surrounded by thousands of passengers, even a small flame can create an unacceptable fire risk. It doesn't matter if the candle is decorative or the incense seems harmless. If it produces an open flame or smoldering ember, security can remove it. Cruise cabins also have sensitive smoke detection systems, so even a small amount of smoke can trigger an alarm. Want the same atmosphere? Use LED candles or flameless diffusers instead. At sea, prevention matters more than convenience. 13. Small kitchen appliances, blenders, hot plates, coffee makers, kettles, and immersion heaters are facing tighter enforcement in 2026. The common problem is heat motors, or both. Cruise ships use controlled electrical systems, and personal appliances can place unpredictable demands on outlets and wiring. A hot plate produces direct heat. A coffee maker combines heat and liquid. A blender has a motor that can jam or overheat. Security teams are also becoming more consistent about removing items that look like household appliances rather than simple charging devices. Cruise ships already provide food, drinks, and coffee. Your cabin isn't a kitchen. The safest approach is simple. Leave the appliances at home. 14. Certain cabin door decorations. Magnets, birthday signs, and anniversary decorations are generally still allowed, but some symbols and themes are receiving more scrutiny in 2026. The problem is that certain images can carry different meanings, and complaints or misunderstandings can lead crew members to intervene. There may not be a specific written ban. Instead, enforcement can come down to crew discretion. If a decoration is suggestive, controversial, or disruptive to the family-friendly environment, staff may ask you to remove it. Keep decorations simple, respectful, and easy to remove. Flat magnets and neutral celebration signs are usually the safer choice. 15. Gray area items. Then there are the items that aren't clearly banned, but are getting flagged more often. Clothing steamers are one example, because they generate heat similar to small irons. Plug-in essential oil diffusers can also attract attention if they contain heating elements. Modified electronics are another concern, especially devices that have been rewired, altered, or combined with unusual adapters. Security officers judge these items based on risk, not simply the label on the package. And that's important. Travel safe or cruise approved doesn't always guarantee acceptance. Cruise lines are increasingly focused on eliminating potential fire hazards, electrical problems, and interference with ship systems. So in 2026, smart packing isn't about fitting more into your suitcase. It's about knowing what could stop you at security before security has to tell you. Cruise rules change. What passed security years ago could be confiscated today, so don't pack based on old advice. Check your cruise line's current rules before you leave, because losing a $40 power strip isn't a disaster, but starting your vacation at the security desk is completely avoidable. Pack smart, check the rules, and don't let one small mistake ruin your cruise before it even begins. Have you ever had something confiscated at cruise security? Tell me what it was in the comments.